Rutgers trying to do in Michigan for the second time in a row here. And it's a chip shot kick to the 28-yard line, of fair catch. It's a power run game that's without its regular left tackle, Grant Newsome, who is out for the year with a knee injury. So Davion Smith will be running behind a repurposed line when he does touch the ball. This is incomplete from Wilton Spate for the tight end, Jake. But Jones out with a very scary injury last week, likely to never play college football again. And they stack up Davion Smith after a gain of 2. The defensive line, led by Darius Hamilton, comes up big on that first run. Third down, Michigan. First possession of the game tonight. Under pressure, Spade, he goes to the screen, and Davion Smith is absolutely lit up and wrangled down.
Funnel to third down and find a way to get off the field.
Very talented freshman Jawan Harris is back to receive this punt. And we have seen adventures in special teams all day today in college football during Hurricane Matthew and its remnants.
There are a lack of playmakers offensively right now for Rutgers.
With the leg injury to Janarian Grant, who's the leading receiver and special teams player. Grant is out for the year likely. Laviano loads up the deep ball down the middle, incomplete. He wanted Andre Patton, the senior, and it's second down. They took a shot against the All-American Jordan Lewis.
And the ball's in the air.
Certainly was some body there as they'll run the jet sweep with Jawan Harris, the two-sport star. He's also a baseball player for Rutgers, and he sets up third down and playable. He's a likely big play threat as Rutgers, third down this year, 35%, 101st in the country, as Laviano gives ground and has to spike it. And by the way, you're going to need to redefine versatile. If Charlton is, what does that make Jabril Peppers?
Yeah, no kidding. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Who's back to receive this punt, and he waves it off, bouncing into the end zone. Or even going undefeated the first 5 weeks of this season. Ty Isaac is in as the tailback, and the transfer Isaac is dumped down after a couple of yards, given 5. The USC transfer knocked down by Trevor Morris, a linebacker for Rutgers. Chris Evans, a smaller back, has checked in. The freshman out of Ben Davis High School in Indianapolis. Spate with time, throws it wide, incomplete. It's third down, looking for J.U. Chesson. The New Jersey kid. It's been tough to get tickets for the Michigan guys. A lot of New Jersey folks on that Michigan lineup. Third down, second time for Michigan against the Sticks today. Spate to throw. The redshirt sophomore, incomplete. Off the hands of Amara Darbo, and it's fourth down. A little bit behind Darbo, but we've seen it all day long in college football. The rain has caused big trouble for a lot of teams. Punt time for Kenny Allen to Harris again, and he tries to field on a bounce and has to pick it up around the 25. Laviano's second possession. Martin gets the carry, and he rummages forward across the 30. Nice run. And a whistle before the snap.
False start. Offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Laviano, some air under it for Harris. And it's third down coming up. Justin Goodwin, the third down back, is in. He's their best pass catcher. And down goes Laviano. Taco Charlton with the sack. And that's number 21 for Michigan. Top 5 in the country. Don Brown, when he was hired, he said to Jim Harbaugh, I want to bring about 65% pressure. Harbaugh said, you know, I was thinking 80. As that is caught by Peppers down to a knee.
Rutgers, I think, feels decent about their matchups outside, and they're a press team, a lot of man-to-man. So if you can load the box and play man-to-man outside and force the quarterback, Wilton Spate, to make plays in that pass game.
Freshman Devin Asiasi is checked in at tight end as Davion Smith crashes forward for a couple yards, given 3. Rutgers dealing with a bunch of injuries, basically at every level. As the ball's on the deck, Smith lost it, and Rutgers has it. Darnell Davis is on it, and there's that big first turnover. So Rutgers, which has been outscored 65-14 in the first quarter this year, starts from inside the Michigan 40-yard line. Laviano to throw down the field. Harris incomplete. With the injury to Janarian Grant. He broke his leg against Iowa a couple of weeks ago. This goes on the ground for Robert Martin. Quarterback Chris Laviano, one completion. It came on a jet sweep. Third down, Laviano whips it wide for Harris again with Jordan Lewis stapled to him. Now do you go for it? You punt.
Field position is going to be huge right here because of the weather, just like we've seen all day in college football. So I think they're going to play field position.
We might need more than Katie and more than a bar for Don Brown, the way he calls the game. Peppers back to receive Cintron's punt. He has one in the end zone today, and this one is again into the red paint. Wilton Spate, who had been over, completes the pass to the 25, the tight end Jake Butt. Karan Higdon this carry for Michigan to pick up the first down. Damian Harris, by the way, an Under Armour All-American. Certainly doesn't. We saw the big truck visiting here as well as Jabril Peppers is into the game. We have seen him a number of places already, and he's streaking down the sideline right now. Inside the 25-yard line, on the gas pedal inside the 5. He is the one-man band for Michigan. He's got him inside the 5-yard line. On the toss. Touchdown, Michigan. Ty Isaac on the board for the Wolverines after the Peppers set up. Michigan has had kicking questions. Thought maybe it would be Ryan Tice starting.
You have the ability to blitz and play the line of scrimmage like Polamalu, and Woodson's cover ability in that long, lean body. That's who Peppers is. Is that too high praise?
I don't think so. He sets up the touchdown, Jabril Peppers, and that return goes nowhere to the 10-yard line.
Your best athlete needs to be on the field as much as possible, and that is what Michigan intends to do tonight.
Kind of a safety linebacker hybrid defensively, and that's going absolutely nowhere. Taco Charlton with more impressive penetration. Second down. Once you get past the first couple of plays, it's almost unintelligible who's the starter and who's not. Laviano giving ground again and had a receiver in the area. Harris was close enough. Well, we asked Drew Maringer, we said, look, who would your ideal quarterback for this offense be? And he described a Russell Wilson type. So Laviano playing in another new offense as Rutgers has flipped coaches one more time. Laviano incomplete over the middle into traffic off the deflection, and it's fourth down coming up.
You're a little unsure of what you're going to get protection-wise against this defense.
Flag down off the snap. Peppers lets it bounce. It takes a pro Rutgers roll to the 44-yard line, and we'll check the marker.
Pump this thing out of bounds somewhere, but do not let Peppers get his hands on it.
And rule number 2 is see rule number 1.
Exactly. Rule number 3 is you won't be punting again.
High kick at the 44. Peppers dodges one. Flag comes in. Peppers keeps his feet. Oh my goodness, what a return. That may not count.
Illegal block in the back. Return team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, Michigan.
Wilton Spate, the redshirt sophomore, back to the controls on the lob, down the sideline. Incomplete, a little too much. Second down coming up. He wanted J.U. Chesson. Second down. Toss for Isaac. He scored earlier, and he picks his way across the 45 for a first down, Michigan. First down, Michigan after the 12-yard run from Isaac, and it's Karan Higdon, who was a coach's decision not to play last week against Wisconsin. Second down for Spate. Scanning. Spate on the run. Guns it high. Incomplete. Darbo's the lone receiver at the bottom of your screen as Michigan's 0 for on third down. This is the slant for Darbo, and it's incomplete. Isaiah Wharton was there and maybe early. The markers come in.
Pass interference. Spot foul. Automatic first down.
So first down, Michigan. Smith back in. And he's dragged backward by Sebastian Joseph, the defensive lineman for Rutgers. What a play. Spate up in the pocket again, on the launch to the end zone. And it is caught. Touchdown. What a grab by J.U. Chesson.
Spate was again moving up in the pocket and throws a dart right into the front shirt pocket of Chesson out wide. And it actually kind of cleaned up his read a little bit, because as he stepped up in the pocket, it really cleared out because the safety went with the seam in the middle of the field, and he had Chesson by himself outside. But Harbaugh talked about Wilton Spate is a good, maybe bordering line great deep ball thrower. That was a great deep ball right there.
Kenny Allen for the extra point. And Michigan has jumped on Rutgers with a 14-0 lead. But Michigan now, after that early turnover, seems to be rolling on the road where they lost 2 years ago. And with this touchback, new quarterback Zach Allen is in for Rutgers. Laviano 1 for 8. So the TCU transfer has checked in for Rutgers and goes with a jet sweep that goes nowhere. Jabril Peppers and Mike McCray swallow up Harris.
Yeah, we were told that Zach Allen has practiced well, and so you're right. If the pass game is struggling to the extent that it is here at Rutgers, a change is inevitable at the quarterback position, even though we're still looking for playmakers.
Rutgers 3 pass completions last week at Ohio State. Allen under the gun whips it out of bounds, and that's no fun to check in for. Rutgers 0 for 4 on third down this evening. Peppers bringing pressure, and down goes Allen. Michigan with another sack. Ben Gideon, and a flag comes in.
Holding. Offense, number 71. Penalties decline. Brings up fourth down.
Punt time for Cintron, and he barely gets it away, forcing a fair catch in plus territory for Michigan. Spate loads of time, threw it short, and a diving try for Chesson. And J.U. Chesson had it spin away from him. Jabril Peppers has checked into the game. The big guy running the read option. He gave it away to Isaac, and Jimmy Hogan threw him backward. Spate on third down and 11. Flag comes in. A bullet down the middle goes for a first down. Michigan will move the sticks with J.U. Chesson if it stands.
Holding. Offense number 76. 10-yard penalty. Replay third down.
Third down and 21. Michigan the draw for Evans. The freshman out in space. Evans gets him to midfield. Some of the penalty yardage back. It's a gain of 9. Although Michigan's best unit is that defense.
Yeah, no doubt. They haven't scored yet.
That is a punt right to the corner. Out of bounds at the 1-yard line. It's a 49-yard punt. Zach Allen still the quarterback for Rutgers, his second drive. And on the read option, he chooses to give it away to Martin for a short gain, trying to draw away from that end zone. Spoken from a former quarterback. Martin again on second down, stacked up by Ben Gideon, who had a sack on the last drive after a gain of 1. Allen from the end zone on the run. Allen has the first down, lost the football. It's on the ground, and the battle for it goes to the Wolverines.
Football in 60 is presented by Quicken Loans in partnership with Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Push button, get mortgage.
the building is going to be tough. Offensively, they're -1 yard and no first downs yet in this game. That's tough sledding, to say the least.
And they look down the barrel of Jersey product Jabril Peppers, who's in the game after the turnover. Peppers on the roll, cuts it inside, and touchdown, Jabril Peppers. He knifes through for a score. Two-yard line. Goodwin on the return, and he is short of the 20.
There are a lot of guys that are great athletes that play this game, but to do the things that he does and have the football IQ, the field, the instincts, all of that as a package, you know, that's a very, very elite club.
They showed the jet sweep action and nothing there. Third down, Cart. Third down, 11 for Allen and the offense. Free runner coming, and the ball is whipped incomplete. Well, if the number on his jersey signals positions he plays, he has undersold it.
No doubt about it. What a tremendous treat to watch him play.
He is back to return the punt. There's a flag down, and Peppers waves it off.
Illegal formation offense. More than 4 men in the backfield. 5-yard penalty.
And to be honest with you, Jim Harbaugh has moved recruiting in college football to a completely different level, and it's up to everyone else to try to keep up with him now.
As we saw with the proposed possible new rules, as Jabril Peppers waves a fair catch.
And you're watching a tremendously unique athlete.
Evans tripped up. Jabril Peppers and Wilton Spate, his quarterback, were both in the 2014 Under Armour High School All-American game.
Where do you go with this guy? I mean, today it's tremendous. It's at 70 yards already, and not even to halftime yet.
Evans bursting through. Chris Evans, the freshman, zigzagging through the defense. Inside the 5 and down to the 1-yard line.
Where does Michigan stack up against that team? Well, that's an answer that doesn't come until very late in the season.
Hill gives it one more shot. And let's see, no signal yet. Touchdown.
Khalid Hill is their closer when they get deep.
And if you need a yard, you call on him. 12 carries, 20 yards, 6 touchdowns. And Michigan's going to get a couple points off this. Why not? Garrett Moore's the holder. Rutgers trailing big. -1 total offense so far for Rutgers. This has been a problem for Rutgers over the course of its history, though. Penn State had a strong foothold in New Jersey. Franco Harris is from around the area. He ended up not going to Rutgers famously. As Zach Allen stays in, and Jabril Peppers comes crashing in on Goodwin. Second down.
The offensive line is decent, but the lack of playmakers in an offense that's designed to put playmakers in space and minimize the impact of a defensive line of scrimmage.
Oh, Gideon shot out of a cannon. Wow.
But there's a fine because the linebackers were in need coming into this year. That's why Peppers was moved there as more of a hybrid type guy. But Gideon in the middle and McCray on the outside have been doing a great job this season.
Play clock was winding down. Allen was clapping for the snap. And a timeout Rutgers before that snap.
And Chris Ash knows that this is a project. It's going to take some time. He loves the character of his team. He didn't love the bodies of his team when he first came about 7 months ago. He said the fitness, the way they want to play offense, play defense, these guys had to be in better shape. So he brought with him from Ohio State Kenny Parker, the strength and conditioning coach that worked with Urban Meyer and that program. And the changes are starting to happen already. Look at Tariq Cole, the left tackle. He came in 7 months ago weighing 340 pounds. Now he's 310.
And one other thing he did too, Kark, is he poached Tom Herman's nutritionist as well. He took somebody from the nutrition department at Houston to help here at Rutgers as well.
Come on, get back in the play.
Punt goes bouncing, and this isn't going to go anywhere. Michigan will have the ball just short of midfield to get to 6-0. Spate steps up in the pocket and just flips it away for J.U. Chesson, who had a beautiful touchdown earlier. The group of 5 chances now at the college football playoff dwindle greatly with Houston's loss as Spate serves it up down the middle and a jump ball inside the 10-yard line. What a beautiful grab by Amara Darboh against Austin. 26th straight game with a catch for Darboh, who was born into a civil war in Sierra Leone and became a citizen just last year. This run for Smith, 2nd down coming up. Evans, the freshman, has been electric tonight, and the door is shut at the 1-yard line for Chris Evans. Evans searching for the end zone, driven back, and he gives up ground. Isaiah Wharton threw him back. Now 4th and goal. 4th and goal up 29-0.
Wouldn't be a bad time to work on your field goal kicker.
0 for 3 last week in the kicking game. Hill up the middle, puts his head down, and they're going to say he is short. The far side official waving overhead. Now touchdown. Well, Chris Ash, the head coach for Rutgers, told us about his history detasseling corn plants in Iowa, but it's the maize that's done the job so far on him tonight in New Jersey. Returnable from inside the 5 for Goodwin. And the Michigan defense has been outstanding tonight. Rutgers, though, having trouble solving that defense. -5 total yards behind a pair of quarterbacks, Laviano and Allen. And they will keep it on the ground with Martin, a good run to the outside until he's undercut at the 19 by the All-American Jordan Lewis.
You're going to take your lumps. And the first half of the schedule, actually, for Rutgers was not very favorable. They have some opportunities the second half of the season.
Allen, the TCU transfer, up to the 23.
You're seeing a Michigan defense that's elite. They're championship-esque. The question down the road for Michigan, does their offense come forward enough to match that and this team be potentially a college football playoff team?
Rutgers in search of its first down, and it will not get there. Robert Martin tackled.
You throw away from Jordan Lewis and you throw over to a guy that is an NFL guy himself, and the experience on the defensive side. There are seniors and 5th-year seniors all over the place on the defensive side for Michigan. What a unbelievable defense we've seen out of Michigan here this evening.
Top 5 in the FBS entering play today. Evans sneaks through a hole, and Evans chopped down by Choppy, the safety. First down for Michigan. Evans showing burst again, and Evans crashing across the 35 for another Michigan first down. Remember, Michigan came here a couple of years ago and lost. It was a different regime, certainly, but there is institutional knowledge from Michigan of that loss. Spate has had tons of time. He goes to the sideline for Darboh, and a first down for Michigan. Toss from Spate. Eddie McDoom on the run, the freshman, to about the 5-yard line.
And Jim Harbaugh is setting a new level of recruiting. Brady Hoke recruited pretty well to this program, so Harbaugh didn't step into an empty cover.
Peppers is checked in, fake it that way. Spate the throw to the goal line, incomplete. Peppers back in. Peppers turns, looking for the end zone. Touchdown!
Number 5 doesn't need much of an edge.
Jersey boy scores again, his second touchdown. Some coaches schedule games in basketball to get homecoming on the schedule for their seniors. The schedule did it for Jim Harbaugh on its own, but he can do everything. He is a state champion in the 100 and 200 meters.
That does not surprise me.
Back-to-back years he did it. And the Michigan defense stacks the line one more time.
We know that Rutgers is kind of going uphill right now. A lack of playmakers, a new scheme. They just don't have the chess pieces to be moving around, and they're playing against a team defensively that has all of the chess pieces possible.
Allen the keeper, and white jerseys everywhere. Down he goes. Play clock ticking down, and there's a flag. Third down, Allen to the edge, Peppers in pursuit, and they get there. Delano Hill was there as well, along with Rashawn Gary, the Jersey product and the #1 player in the ESPN 300 last year. Worth mentioning one more time, reportedly 200+ recruits scheduled to be at the game today. Michigan, which brought in 9 players from the state of New Jersey on the roster, as that punt goes bouncing out of bounds around the 40-yard line.
Kill it formation. Interesting.
The world may never know, but what we are sure of is that Michigan has put on an elite display in the first 30 minutes in Piscataway, New Jersey, outgaining Rutgers 311-1. They may rename a portion of the Garden State Parkway for him before this game is over. The Jersey product, Jabril Peppers. Justin Goodwin on the return. Across the 20.
When you have an opportunity like this and you're getting beat like this, you have to just play for each other and go out and have some fun. It's tough to have fun when you're losing 43-0, gents.
Allen on the roll, and out of bounds it goes. And nothing there again. This Michigan defensive line. Chris Wormley, Ryan Glasgow, who was one of the best players on the defensive line in college football last week in the Wisconsin game. Wormley, the senior out of Toledo, with that stop.
Very experienced guys as well. You know, there's a lot of seniors and fifth-year seniors in that front seven, and the two deep in the front seven, as a matter of fact.
Allen under pressure again and swung down. Taco Charlton gets there early in the half, as he did in the first. Taco Charlton, who got his very first start at Michigan a couple of years ago at Rutgers, gets a sack again, and a high kick from Cintron that checks up inside the 40-yard line.
So what Jim Harbaugh knows is he has an elite defense full of NFL guys that are veteran guys, and his offense has a chance to grow and get better with a new quarterback in Wilton Speight.
And a new quarterback right now, John O'Korn, the Houston transfer, has checked in to play the second half. Speight getting a breather as Evans hurdles for about a yard.
John O'Korn gets very valuable time right here in this game.
Second handoff for O'Korn. Evans kept his feet, and he's across the 30-yard line. A slithery freshman. O'Korn the toss, and it is Isaac on the run across the 25 for a Michigan first down. Well, when Harbaugh was throwing up that Hail Mary for Indianapolis in 1995, Wilton Speight was about 13 months old. So that's the separation between a head coach and quarterback, as O'Korn whips it out wide and has a completion across the 15-yard line, as Michigan will get the second string guys some run here in the second half. Hill, the fullback, with that grab. Possible playing time at stake in the future, as the freshman Evans has had a nice day. Chris Evans stopped by Maddox Williams. It's Eddie McDoom, the freshman, in motion. O'Korn flips it out wide, and he's got a completion to the end zone. Touchdown, Hill. He normally does it from a yard away. And Jim Harbaugh, you have to believe tonight, wants to put on a show for two reasons. Number one, all the Jersey kids on his roster, like Peppers. Yeah. And number two is the recruiting fertile ground here in New Jersey.
What did you say we're here tonight? It's about 200 recruits.
That was the report.
Collectively, right? Between both teams, I would assume. But you're exactly right. The lifeblood of what they do.
There's one player on the Rutgers roster as Goodwin returns this kickoff across the 20 and just short of the 30-yard line. Ross Douglas is a transfer from Michigan to Rutgers. The good news for Rutgers is there are no ranked teams, at least as the poll stands right now, no ranked teams remaining in the second half of the schedule. They've already played Washington, Ohio State, and now Michigan tonight as Goodwin has done some damage both in special teams and on the ground. Give him 3.
Hey, first, get a first down. That's a little victory, but start there and then build on that.
Allen has been playing quarterback since midway through the first half, and he is overrun by Rashawn Gary, the #1 player in the ESPN 300 recruiting rankings last year. Allen, who is 0 for 5 so far in the game. Quarterbacks combined for Rutgers, 1 for 13, now 1 for 14.
It's definitely premeditated. There isn't a doubt about that. And I think Jim Harbaugh gets the recruiting side of it maybe better than anyone in the college football game right now.
He's forced rule changes.
Exactly.
At least pending rule changes that we'll touch on in a bit. As O'Korn is out and Shane Morris is in. Third quarterback used by Michigan. Florida State in danger of going to 0-3 in ACC play. Another big gash in the run game for Michigan. Evans finds daylight, and Chris Evans with a breakout game tonight in his freshman season for Michigan. On the ground again, Higdon seeking the end zone, and a touchdown. Karan Higdon for Michigan. That is the 6th rushing touchdown tonight for the Michigan Wolverines. Rutgers will get it back as this return comes from the 10-yard line. Michigan has been everywhere on special teams as Goodwin has it strung out to about the 22.5. 36 plays, 12 drives, 12 3-and-outs for Rutgers. Just get some decent yardage on first down. Third down coming up. First, the tackle.
Don Brown, to me, is an innovator in terms of the way that he uses this Viper player. And for Michigan, it's Jabril Peppers. Wait for the call and come back to me.
We'll do that, Cart. Our referee, Mike Cannon, leading this Big Ten crew.
Start. Offense. 16. Penalty. Means third down.
Brown's been using that Viper spot since 2009, and Harbaugh knows he could have all the recruits he wants, but Don Brown in the offseason might be his biggest one. Harbaugh said anything this guy does, touches, anything he touches turns to gold. He was a baseball coach, and they were great when he coached baseball.
At Yale, Don Brown, the baseball coach. And that's a big lick out of bounds to the 27-yard line.
The rarity that we're seeing is not as much the physical things, although that's pretty elite in itself, obviously, but it's the ability to retain so quickly the things that you're being asked to do. And then the coach is very creative and able to use him in new ways every week.
Football in 60 is presented by Quicken Loans in partnership with Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Push button, get mortgage.
Is there a guy in college football that would do it better for Don Brown than Jabril Peppers? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think you're exactly right. And Cart, the interesting thing to me is consider how practices, plays out during the week for a kid that has 20 hours in terms of being able to practice.
When your best player also has the best football IQ and you can play him in all those spots on offense, on defense, in the return game, those 20 hours are valuable. You can't burn them, and you don't have to burn them with Jabril Peppers. He gets it.
think it's extremely rare when you're talking about going to one side of the ball and the other. You know, there are defenders that can play maybe 2 or 3 different positions, which all have different roles and different assignments. There are offensive players, you know, tight ends that can split out and handle the passing tree of a wide receiver, running backs that are versatile. But to go from one side of the ball and the other and be that productive without skipping a beat is amazing to see.
Allen, 4th punt of the day for Kenny Allen, and a fair catch for Harris. Was Tim Biakabatuka there at that time?
He was.
Former Michigan running back?
Absolutely. It's a flash from the past.
First down for Rutgers. Zach Allen has manned the offense. He throws high for Harris. And Juwan Harris, the 2-sport star, who really does have a high ceiling for Rutgers. He led the Big Ten in stolen bases in baseball last year. And he is the only target the last 2 weeks. 5 catches for Rutgers last couple of weeks, all for Harris.
And Janarian Grant went out against Iowa, and he was by far their #1 playmaker. And this is an offense that's designed to get out in space and have what they call RPOs, run pass options, to create space outside. You run it in the box. If it's not there, the overhang defender comes inside as a run defender. You pull it and throw it outside. And right now there just is a void of playmakers in this offense.
Allen to run, and he leans across the 30. When you're talking about an overhang defender, what do you mean by that?
Well, it's an edge defender. It's an outside linebacker or a nickel that can be a run defender, or he can drop into coverage. And that's the guy that you're targeting, and the quarterback is designed to make that guy wrong every time. If he steps inside, I pull it and throw it outside in a pass. If he drops into coverage, I give it to my running back, where the offensive line is already blocking, say, a zone type of run. So you have the best of both worlds, theoretically, if you have the personnel.
Allen twisted down, not much there for the running quarterback by way of TCU. The transfer, Chase Winovich, the defensive end, got there first. The 5th leading tackler for Michigan, by the way, is a 2nd stringer.
And Rutgers still does not have a first down unless I turned away for a moment.
You are as focused as anybody.
The fans here were actually wanting Chris Ash to go for it on 4th and about 2 yards, and he apparently is not buying any of that.
If you just joined us, Michigan did go for it up big on 4th and goal from the 1-yard line. This return for Evans. Boy, he gets up to top speed pretty quickly. Shane Morris has checked in to play quarterback. And they will go on the ground with Higdon once again, and he breaks across the 45 into plus territory. Knocked down by KJ Gray, the freshman from Newark for Rutgers.
And Jason, you know what Jim Harbaugh is quietly building here in Michigan is competition that makes the entire program better. And where you really see that is at the running back position, where they're at least 4 deep at the running back position, a diverse group in terms of skill set, and those guys are hungry for carries.
They've combined for 306 yards on the ground and then some, as Higdon is up to the 41. Austin with the tackle.
Yeah, don't tell guys like Karan Higdon that play that he just ran wasn't just as important as the first play of this game, because you're trying to demonstrate that you deserve more playing time down the road. I remember when Pete Carroll was at USC, when he had running backs stacked up like wood, you know, and he had maybe 4 or 5 5-star guys at a time. And I'm like, how do you keep them happy? He said, they compete with one another and make everyone better. And if you're the best, you want to play against the best. And that's exactly what propelled that program forward in those days.
Pete Carroll, who's had a profound effect on the tackling for Rutgers. We were talking to Jane Neiman, the defensive coordinator, about his rugby-style tackling. And Pete Carroll has been sort of a champion of that.
And I love to see it. We saw Nebraska do that earlier. Mark Banker, their D coordinator, is sold on it as well. And if I was commissioner of football at every level for a day, I would make that a proclamation where that tackling had to be taught all the way down as, you know, clear into youth football, because it gets the head out of the way. lowers the target and leads with the shoulder. And I really like the things that I've seen out of that style of tackle.
So you're saying it's two-pronged. It may be more effective, and it's definitely more safe.
Yeah, it's more effective. Back in the old days, they used to teach when you were angling to a running back or someone carrying the ball, you would shoot your head what they called across the bow, which is basically in front of a moving target. And your head obviously was in harm's way. And now they teach you to actually focus on the near hip, get your head behind the guy with the ball, and then you wrap and you roll so your head is out of harm's way. I really like that way of tackling.
Lefty Morris spins it out wide, and it is intercepted. Picked off by Deontay Roberts for Rutgers. And the Scarlet Knights get in the end zone for the first time on defense tonight.
Before Roberts gets his hand on it.
It was Maurice Ways.
Yeah, he was the receiver, and that ball was thrown low. Does it hit the ground and then the knee? Chris Ash just needs something good to happen. I hate to tell Chris Ash this, but that ball's coming back.
After review, the ball hit the ground, creating an incomplete pass. It will be 2nd down and 10 on the 31-yard line. That is the end of the third quarter.
Live in the neighborhood. Don't go to bed before the Rutgers game is over in case of possible cannon fire. First play, quarter number 4. It is the USC transfer Ty Isaac with a first down for Michigan.
Yeah, the proposal is going from 2 15-day periods to 1 10-day period, and you can hit as many camps in those 10 days as you can.
They're going to take a lot of fun away from it. I mean, he pushes the limits of the rules. We've seen that. We've seen him sleep over at a recruit's house to get the recruit. Nordine, the kicker, is that guy who he did end up getting. Morris in, Higdon on the ground.
Jim Harbaugh coming back to Michigan was obviously huge for the Michigan nation. But that was really, to me, in response to some guy over at Ohio State named Urban Meyer who had already raised the bar. I think Urban Meyer at Ohio State and Michigan's Jim Harbaugh actually is going to elevate the entire conference trying to keep up with those two guys. His presence and his ability to recruit, obviously his corresponding success.
And one more touchdown for Michigan. On the dive, Bobby Henderson giving the fullback a rushing touchdown. Number 7 today on the ground for Michigan. Point number 64, Ryan Tice, the second kicker we've seen. Chris Ash's team still does not have a first down so far tonight. That was not the greatest NC State team, by the way. They're just 7-5. Yeah, Western Carolina. No first downs in that game. NC State's defense caused it. Now, Chris, we were talking to Chris Ash, the head coach of Rutgers, this week, and he said when we got off the field in that game against Washington, I said we just got beat by a really good football team. Maybe the fastest defense they'll see all year for Rutgers in Chris Ash's estimation. Rutgers goes with Trey Sneed, the backup running back, and he is met with significant resistance as Rutgers is playing Ohio State and Michigan back-to-back weeks. Again, as we check in with Clark, a running play that stopped. Allen flushed out and drilled.
And JT Barrett and company, they actually have a really talented version of what Rutgers is trying to do offensively. Play out in space with athletes that like to play out in space, and Ohio State has those athletes offensively in droves, and they have a veteran signal caller that's played at an extremely high level. All of those things offensively that Rutgers hopes to have at some time. That's a pretty good hire.
John O'Korn with the handoff, and Michigan with 7 rushing touchdowns. The school record is 8, and that came in Jim Harbaugh's final season.
Through his versatility in a position. So he has 3 or 4 or 5 different running backs that bring something slightly different to the table. His tight ends present different things, and his fullbacks different things.
Higdon in as the tailback, and he runs right by the oncoming pressure. Higdon to the end zone. There is the school record tying 8th rushing touchdown for the Wolverines. Justin Goodwin on the return for Rutgers, and a flag comes marching in.
The return, illegal block in the back. Return team number 49. Penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, Rutgers.
As Rutgers still going for that first down of the day. And across the 30, there it is. Snead again trying to navigate his way through, and nothing there.
I think both Michigan State and Iowa, before the year, I was looking at those saying those are going to be trouble spots. I don't really see that anymore.
Michigan so far has outscored opponents 279 to 55 this year. That is a huge number as that pass is errant.
This Michigan team, from the start of the game to right now, has an edge. I don't think Jim Harbaugh has trouble getting his team's attention. And the word on the street is Urban Meyer has his team's attention. Last year, so many guys went to the NFL draft, and now he's got a new crop of super elite players that haven't experienced that national title, and he's got that bait for them. So I think both of these teams, from an edge standpoint and a chip on their shoulder, they both have it. It's going to be scary.
Talked about it quarterback-wise. J.T. Barrett over Wilton Spade, who is still growing into the position.
We've seen a lot of quarterbacks today for Michigan: Spate, Morris, O'Korn, Higdon this run.
But these two teams right now are on a collision course. They're on the same track, and it's going to be epic. I think Michigan's defense against J.T. Barrett and an offense that can put a lot of playmakers on the field at the same time.
We saw Henderson with a touchdown, and they go fullback dive one more time.
I like J.T. Barrett with the ball in his hand against this Michigan defense when the game's on the line.
Michigan's run game has been lethal tonight.
They know what's expected of them. They're very purposeful, both offensively and defensively, and Wisconsin defensively is no joke. We knew that. And my question is, do you have the vertical explosive guys outside when you need it?
Up now 450 yards on the ground. And they'll get nothing there. Michigan putting the finishing touches on a win. And this is a school record waiting to happen. Ty Isaac with the touchdown, the 9th on the ground for Michigan tonight. 1939, the University of Chicago provided very little resistance for the Michigan ground attack, as you may recall if you watched it live on microfiche. Goodwin on the return for Rutgers, and he's got some space across the 35.
You know, it really starts in practice, to be honest with you. You have to convince the young men that if we keep, as they say, chopping wood, we keep going to practice with the right mental approach, we keep getting better in the little things, you have to convince them. And it's your job as the head coach to convince them. His resume right now as a head coach is the locker room. And he has to continue to teach. That's who coaches are. They're teachers. The East champion, let's say it's Michigan or Ohio State, to have to face Wisconsin a second time. That's not a defense that you want to face 2 times in 1 year. Oh, but there's a long ways to go in college football, as we know.
Long pass from Allen down the sideline and incomplete.
They're needing playmakers. and the quarterback position is simply going to take their lumps until they find some.
And tonight, we may have seen the coronation of a possible Heisman contender in a big way.
And what I love, and we could see it from here in the booth, he literally is standing behind Jim Harbaugh, all but tugging on his shirt when he thinks it's an opportunity for him to get in the game. The young man absolutely loves to play the game of football.
Jabril Peppers, couple of rushing touchdowns. 3 carries, 74 yards, 2 scores. He set up another touchdown with a 63-yard run. And this being his home state, you know there's a little bit extra in that smile tonight for Peppers. Scarlet Knights shut out back-to-back weeks. First time in 8 years that's happened in the FBS. It was Washington State in 2008, but the Michigan Wolverines were a staunch opponent tonight. They were upset here 2 years ago. Nothing close this evening. 78-0, the largest margin of victory since 1940 for the Wolverines.